Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be doing episode number 27 of I Build Your Teams, the series where I build my viewers' teams into the best teams possible for my team unlimited and or competitive play based on how much MT they have and what their current squad is looking like. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 4,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. I would really appreciate your support if you haven't already, if you do subscribe. Additionally, if you want to be featured in a future episode of I Build Your Teams, make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link is always down in the description below. And be on a lookout for a tweet about this series on Friday nights. If you respond on Friday night, there is typically a much higher likelihood that your team will be in the video, because I almost never record this video Saturday. So if you commented Saturday morning, the video is typically already recorded, so you're not going to be in the video. Whereas if you comment it Friday night after I drop the tweet, it's going to have a much higher likelihood, obviously, of making it into the video. But without further ado, let's hop right into it. Let's start off with the first team today, which comes in from my boy Luca Goat. He's got 100 KMT. Excuse me. Luca, Terry, Cincinnatus, Dolphin, D-Rob with a bench of Lonzo, Elgin, and then 3 free cards, solid free cards. His bench is all free cards, honestly, except for Lonzo. Actually, this Lonzo might be the free one as well. So is Elgin Bailey locked in? Yeah, he's locked in for Terry. So really, this whole team is pretty much locked in, with the exception of Luca and D-Rob in terms of cards. So you can't sell anybody else. And Luca's the best point guard in the game on next gen, 100%. D-Rob, not the best center in the game anymore on next gen, I wouldn't say, but he's probably number 2 or number 3, and you don't have artists, and Kareem is very, very expensive. So for me personally, the way that I look at this squad, I don't think there are any significant upgrades that you could make. I think one upgrade you could look to make, though, would be picking up a guy like Rudy Gay. He adds more size to your small forward position. You can bring Cincinnatus off the bench and replace Jason Tatum, who I think is just that tiny bit outdated at this point. I think upgrading to a Rudy Gay at the 3, Cincinnatus off the bench, is one of your biggest upgrades you can make. And then after that, I would focus on saving MT and probably not locking in anything else, to be completely honest, for the time being, just so you have some more MT flexibility in the future to play with to upgrade a couple other positions on your squad. Next team today comes in from Cholo. He's got almost 900k. Pretty decent squad too. I mean, Jaws, I'm not a huge fan of Jaw, but Lonzo's good. Ray Allen's solid. Harden I don't love, especially at the shooting guard position. Mo Pete is fine. Tatum is also fine. Sean Kemp and Hansbrough is okay. And then you have Kareem, who's a beast, obviously best center in the game. Even this Kareem, which isn't the better Kareem, is still an absolute god. And Cat, who's okay, I guess, but this is also the reward Cat. So Cat, Harden, and Lonzo, I can tell you about the boxes, so you can't sell those cards. But one thing I might consider doing personally would be picking up a guy like Magic Johnson to play the PG position instead of Jaw, and then picking up a shooting guard like an RJ Barrett or a Cam Reddish to start at your shooting guard position. Then you can bring Ray Allen off the bench. After that, I probably would pick up Danny Ferry and Rudy Gay to play your 3s. I just think they're both significant upgrades over Mo Pete and Tatum. And then Sean Kemp and Hansbrough at the 4 is fine. I would still replace Cat at the backup 5 as well with a guy like David Robinson. You have the MT flexibility to do that, and I know that's a lot of changes, so I'm actually just going to type it out for you real quick in an actual team just to make it more easily seen for you. Let's see, I said Magic at the 1, I said RJ Barrett at the 2, and then it was Danny Ferry at the 3. It didn't work. Nice. Hello. Yo. Okay, there we go. And then who was his 4? I guess Sean Kemp is fine. He'll get the job done. I actually think Hansbrough might be better than Kemp. But then you had Kareem at the 5. And then Lonzo off the bench. I know this is taking a while, so bear with me. Who was the backup 3? The guy you were starting at the 2 originally. Oh, Ray Allen, yes. Ray Allen. Rudy Gay. Psycho T at the 4. And then at the 5, I'd go, yeah, D-Rob. You have the MT flexibility to build this team. You build this team, you're looking at a really, really good squad versus this team, which I think is just somewhat mediocre. So that's just my personal opinion on how I would look to upgrade the squad. Next team today comes in from Carson. He's got 600k on current gen, finished unlimited, and level 40. He's going to do clutch and domination to close out the season. So he's doing a lot of stuff, getting everything done this season. I respect it. Sold Ferry, considering running Reggie over Terry. Okay, so this squad, you have Cade, Jaw, and Ben. I would like to see you add another PG in here somewhere, whether that's a Dwayne Wade. Actually, that's probably what I would do. I'd probably just add Dwayne Wade instead of Ja. You have a better small point guard. Wade is just the better small point guard than Ja. Plays similarly to Ja, also an elite slasher and things like that. I would definitely make that swap. Again, also, I would probably add Ferry back. You said you sold him for profit. I would wait for his price to drop a little bit and add him back to the squad as well. You can play him at the 3 and Rudy is your backup 3, or vice versa. But either way, I would run those 2 guys as your 3s and take Tatum out of the lineup. Other than that, this is a really solid squad. You can, again, look to upgrade Siakam or Yao Yao to a Patrick Ewing or a Hakeem or even a Kareem, something like that. But I probably wouldn't waste too much time doing that. Maybe look to upgrade to like a Hakeem maybe over Yao. But definitely would replace the point guard with Wade and the small forward with Danny Ferry, and then potentially something about that power forward or center position. Fourth team today comes in from Fgun. He's got 200k MT on next gen, waiting on players to sell, so he's probably gonna have some more MT than that, or I guess he's waiting on the players to sell for the 200k. This is an exceptional starting lineup, especially on next gen. LeBron is much better on next gen. Pippen is better on next gen. Luka's the best PG on next gen. Your front court is great. Your bench is really solid too. Like, this is a great all-around squad. I would potentially try to make space for Danny Ferry. I know LeBron is a beast, but he's also very expensive. Probably 200,000+ MT. I think you could swap him for Danny Ferry. Really not notice much, if any, of a difference, because I actually think in some ways Ferry is better than LeBron. Better player build, better movement, better jumper. So for me personally, that's maybe a swap I'd potentially make to save yourself some MT and pick up a guy who's basically the same in terms of the level of player, and that would free up some MT. I would also probably sell Clay and pick up an RJ Barrett or Cam Reddish, same type of thing. Those guys are on very similar levels and much cheaper, and that'll save you some MT to put you at around 400,000 MT, which at that point gives you the flexibility to be close to picking up a guy like Kareem, which you could try to do. Otherwise, you can just keep the squad as is, save that MT for next week. But I do think tactically downgrading, as DBG would say, to a guy like Ferry instead of LeBron and RJ Barrett instead of Clay will save you MT, prepare you better for the future weeks, and keep your team just as good as it is currently. Next squad today comes in from Wiz. He's got 75k on current gen. He's willing to sell anybody but Luka, but I'm gonna be honest, there aren't a lot of guys in this team that I would tell you to sell, if any. Luka and Wade is absolutely incredible. I like Cade better than Luka on current gen, I will say. I might even like Cade better than Wade as well. I think Wade and Cade are probably my two, that rhymes, but I think they're probably my two favorite PGs on current. But if you're a huge Luka fan, definitely go ahead and run him, have fun with him. I don't even run Luka on my team, but I probably should, because I love Luka, as many of y'all know. The rest of your team, though, I don't think there's any significant needs for upgrades. One thing I might consider doing is selling Bol if he's juiced, especially since you play on current gen. I don't think he's quite as good on current. He's good. I think Danny Ferry is better. I think you could sell Bol, pick up a Danny Ferry. That's a swap that I do think will improve your team, give yourself a little bit more versatility, especially in the offensive end of the court for shot creation and stuff, and won't harm you much defensively, because Ferry is really, really just so elite on both ends of the court. Definitely an amazing card. That's probably about the only upgrade that I'd make. This is a really, really well-built squad. Definitely props to you for building this team. Second to last team today comes in from Danny. He's got 260k. So we got Cade and Magic, Pippen and Reggie, Giannis and Rudy, Bol, Pat Burke, that's his name, D-Rob, and KP. I think Pat Burke isn't a bad card, but I'm not a huge fan of his release, even on quick. I know he's got a good upper, but the base just isn't very good. I think that's probably the biggest spot to upgrade. The way that I would upgrade that personally is one of two ways. Well, the way I'd upgrade it is the same either way. You pick up Danny Ferry. That's the solution, I think, is the simple solution. The question is, do you start Danny at the 3 and Giannis at the 4? Do you start Giannis and Bol still and bring Danny off the bench at the 4? Either way, I would be running some combination of Rudy Gay, Danny Ferry, Giannis, and Bol as your 3s and 4s. However you really feel comfortable doing is what I would do, but that's probably the way that I personally would look to finish this team out. And then maybe you could swap out KP for a guy like Hakeem as well. I think Hakeem is that better interior guy, better rebounder, better defender, whereas KP is going to give you better floor stretching and is a cheaper option. So kind of depends where you want to go in that area. If you're a big KP fan, keep the card. Otherwise, could look to upgrade to a guy like Hakeem. Last squad today comes in from Reborn. He's got 50k MT on current gen, and I'm not honestly sure there are very many, if any, changes that you can make to this squad. You got Wade, Pippen, Rudy, TD, and D-Rob with Cade, RJ, Jeremy Grant, Tyler Hansbrough, KG off the bench. This is a very well-built squad, especially for, like, I guess kind of a budget squad, because none of these cards are very expensive with the exception of D-Rob. Everybody else in the squad is a buyout, and I think some of them are, like, pretty significantly buyouts, but this is a well-built team. I don't think this is the type of team that you can make significant upgrades for. I mean, the only thing I might say is that you can potentially look to tactically downgrade at places, like tactically downgrade KG to Kristaps, or Tim Duncan to Thurl Bailey, or I don't know. Like, there's some things you could probably do, Scottie Pippen to Cam Reddish, and save yourself a little bit of MT, but I don't think that's necessary. This is a very, very well-built budget squad, because I feel like I could take this team right here and go into a game against the best team in the game and feel confident in my chances to win if I am the better player, at least slightly. And that's one of the beauties of the game this year, is budget cards can compete at the highest level, and not all these guys are true budget cards, but a team like this that is very likely a no money spent squad, or not a ton of money spent squad, is a team that can still compete compete at the highest level because it's still got some elite cards, and there are so many good budget cards in the game right now. So hopefully y'all do enjoy this video, and hopefully it did help you out if I had your team in the video. If not, feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know what your team let me know what your team is looking like, and also again, make sure you follow me on Twitter. Be on the lookout for a tweet about this series next week. But if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.